Here's what we know so far about the Anthropic versus Department of War standoff that's currently playing out. So for a little background, Anthropic is the creator of Claude, and they've worked with the US military before. They were the first to deploy unclassified networks at national labs, run surveillance on foreign adversaries. They've built custom national security models, but they've always had two red lines in their contract that they would not allow Claude to be used for. One, massive surveillance of American citizens, and two, fully autonomous weapons, meaning systems that can select and kill targets with no human in the loop. For months, there wasn't really an issue between the two groups, but recently, Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, wanted those restrictions gone. He was basically pushing for what the Pentagon calls all lawful purposes, meaning that the military could use Claude however it wanted to with no company-imposed limits. They argued that, for example, in the case of a ballistic missile heading towards the US and with 90 seconds to impact, they don't want to be mid-operation and have to find out that Claude's guardrails won't allow you to do it. So in January, he wrote a memo calling for an AI-first warfighting force and said that the military would not employ AI models that wouldn't allow you to fight wars. On Tuesday of this week, they went head-to-head, and Hegseth met with Anthropic CEO Dario and basically gave them an ultimatum to agree to their terms by Friday 5 p.m. or face the consequences. The consequences here being that they would not only cancel Anthropic's $200 million contract, but also designate Anthropic as a supply chain risk. It's worth noting that's usually the label that the Pentagon reserves for foreign adversaries like Chinese military companies. So if Anthropic gets that designation, every single defense contractor from Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon would have to certify that they don't use Anthropic products at all. The other major threat would be invoking the Defense Production Act, which was this Cold War era law that let the government force private companies to hand over their tech for national security purposes, meaning you give us Claude whether you want or not. So after a lot of back and forth and some final offers yesterday night, Dario published a response on Anthropic's website where he laid out everything that the company has done for national defense, ranging from classified deployments to cutting off hundreds of millions in revenue from other military-linked companies, national lab partnerships, but he drew the line and said, we cannot in good conscience accede to their request. He also did point out that the Pentagon's two threats are inherently contradictory. One says that Anthropic is a security risk, but if they do invoke the Defense Production Act, they're basically saying that Claude is essential to national security. After their statement was published, the Pentagon didn't take this very well. The Undersecretary of State even called Dario a liar with a god complex. Interestingly, later last night though, more than 230 employees from Google and OpenAI, which are Anthropic's direct competitors, also signed an open letter calling out the Pentagon because they're currently negotiating with Google and OpenAI to try to get them to agree to what Anthropic has refused. As of this morning, Bloomberg is reporting that the Pentagon is now open to more talks before the deadline, which could mean we see a last-minute deal between them. Right now, it's about 2 p.m. on Friday, so we'll see what happens in a few hours.